Hello, welcome to today's lesson. I hope you are doing well. Alright, so I think in our previous lessons we did grammar, and then I think we are done with the whole topic on nouns. So we are switching to comprehension, which has a substrand known as reading. So a strand known as reading, our substrand is comprehension. And our comprehension, what we are going to look at is we are going to look at understanding a passage through mental visualization. When you say mental visualization, it means you have to try and create a mind picture of what they are talking about in the passage. So whatever the passage is trying to talk about, you try to imagine the situation so that you can understand it best in order to answer questions from them. So in order to achieve this mental visualization, we have 3 steps that you need to go through. And if you go through the steps well, you will achieve that. So what it means is that the steps you go through, that is what you need to do all the time, anytime you have a passage to understand, to answer questions on them. If you do it well, you'll be able to answer the questions well. But if not, then I think you might not be scoring higher mark on the passage. So follow, and then when you practice more, you can do that. Let's look at the first step. Step 1 is known as first reading. So you must take a first reading. Now, in the first reading, you do what we call skimming. Skimming is you just have to read through the passage a little bit quicker without paying attention to the meaning of words you don't know or the pronunciation of difficult words. No, you just do that. What is the purpose of doing that? You just do the skimming to understand and relate the title of the passage to the content. So the purpose of the skimming is for you to be able to relate whatever you have read in the passage to the words, to the title. So for instance, you have a passage, I'm going to use a popular passage that you know, one that you use in the classes often, that is the poor too can be made rich. If you have a passage like that, the title is the poor too can be made rich. So in your first reading, when you read that passage, and then at the end of the day, after skimming, the passage talks about how the poor too can be made rich, and you have achieved the skimming. Even if you couldn't pronounce certain words or didn't understand the meaning of certain words, the most important thing at the end of skimming, you should understand the passage in relation to the title. So that is what that is for. So when you're able to establish that, then you go on to the second reading. Let's look at what goes on in the second reading. In the second reading, you do what we call paragraph analysis. And paragraph analysis is where you examine each paragraph to know what is being discussed in each paragraph. And this is where you do your mental visualization. Whilst you are doing the paragraph analysis, you must create a mental picture of what is being described in each paragraph. That is what you do. For instance, you should go back to the same passage, which is the one I mentioned earlier. The poor too can be made rich. If you remember, in that passage, the first paragraph was talking about where a prince met poor Aminata sitting on a log, and at the moment the prince was going on a walk. And immediately the prince asked his guard to call Aminata. She quickly ran into the house and went to complain to the mother because she was scared. After all, a prince is approaching a poor person. So you see, reading the paragraph, to analyze this paragraph, you have to try and create a mental picture of what is going on. You ask yourself, what is this paragraph talking about? Okay, whatever the paragraph is talking about, how did it happen? So you take each sentence and understand and try to create a mind picture of what is going on in each sentence. Then at the end of it, you see that the paragraph talks about one thing. So if you remember the story, that paragraph spoke about how the prince met Aminata for the first time. So everything in that paragraph describes that. So when you do this, it helps you to create a mind picture and you relate very well with the paragraph. So that is what you do for your second reading. So anytime you have a passage to read, take your time, do the first reading. When you are done, you take your second reading. The second reading, you take your time and do paragraph analysis. It is best to understand the paragraph well so that you can answer all questions on it. Now let's go to the third step, which is the final one. It's called the final reading. Now this reading is done to recollect and sum up all the mental visualization you made in the second reading, because in the second reading you take your time to understand each paragraph. When you are done, you go to the next in that order. So there was some breaks and gaps in between when you were doing that. So when you are done with that, you come and take a final reading so that you can sum up everything. So you see, as you are doing the final reading, you realize that every mental visualization that you did, you see that they will connect. and to be as if you are watching a movie. With that, it helps you to understand the passage well, and no matter how the question is framed or asked under the passage, you can answer it. So I think that is it for now. So I'm going to give you a passage under the lesson. You do say to understand it. When you understand that, you'll be able to answer the questions I will attach to it. I'm going to attach difficult questions that needs proper analysis to understand. So if you don't do the analysis, you'll be able to do that. I'll see you in our next lesson.